today. This is...
I'm Kathryn. I wrote, co-produced, and acted in it.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I produced and acted in
It's a pleasure to meet you guys. Also, just going to throw this out there because I can. Best performance by a duo. Congratulations. I could tell them ahead of time, but it's so much fun to watch their faces.
it. I had no idea.
Talk to us about the project. What was our production schedule? How did we work this through? How did you guys get together as a team? All of the above. Go.
Sure. Well, Kathryn came to me with this idea, and I think it started off being based around our friendship and what was attainable that we could make in one location with the people that we had and our friends. I think that was important to us because we wanted something that we could get done. And then we brought Jonny on, and then everything just started picking up real quick. He brought along a great crew and a lot of fancy equipment that I wasn't expecting. And it was just great, yeah.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to make something that we could act in. That was, kind of the idea. So we were thinking what is within our capabilities here. And we, like Kelly was saying, we wanted something that would feel true to our friendship. And definitely a lot of the humor in the script is written based off of the banter that we typically have in real life. So it feels very, it's like a little glimpse into what the world of Kelly and Kathryn is like.
Yeah, I met them through a mutual friend, Trig, who they reached out because they had the script and they were like, hey, we want to make this. And originally, I think they wanted to shoot it on their iPhone, and I was just like, I think we can step it up a little, maybe. Because I used to work at Panavision and Kearton, some camera houses, so I reached out to some people, asked for some favors, and got a good little package that was nice for us, and kind of shoved it into Kelly's room, and then brought a small crew, again, like, people that we know that we've worked with before on a shorthand, and then started making it. And I think for me, it's like I've typically written and directed my other stuff, so it was kind of a fun challenge for myself to be like, okay, can I direct something that somebody else wrote? And I wanted that challenge, and I thought it was fun. And once I read the script, I was like, okay, there's fun, and there's potential to be something special. I thought right away with it, with what they wrote, and I love rom-coms and that stuff. So it's just like it was just a fun film to play with.
Awesome. I'm actually going to go right back to you. I directed first thing this summer. First time I directed something that I didn't write. It is
Congrats.
Definitely a experience of having to pick up somebody else's words and have this feeling like, please don't screw this up. And you have a gorgeous style that was created in the direction of this. What was that conversation like for you guys?
Yeah, so that was part of my idea, like basically my pitch to them, because I think there was like another director as well that they were looking at, and I was just like, well, screw that, I'm gonna try to get the job and treat it like, even though it's a short film, there was no real, like at the time, no budget, nothing that I knew. Like I told them, I'm like, I work for free. I just want to make things and do things. So I took it, like a real job, like a real potential thing. So I made a pitch packet for it, and I saw like how I would want to make it. I'm like, I think I wanted to pay homage to kind of like the 2000s and the 90s films that I saw with my sisters, like the 10 Things I Hate About You, The Clueless, like that color palette was important to me. And I love Pedro Almodovar and like Wes Anderson-y stuff, so I wanted some of that in there. Certain shots that I had in mind, I thought the EpiPen scene could be fun to do, kind of like the Pulp Fiction idea, but then, lighthearted, obviously, because we're not trying to like kill anyone. But maybe,
You say that now.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I made a whole pitch packet and included like who I thought the characters were to me when I read the script, and what I felt could, feel like a film. And then I pitched it to them. I remember I brought them and like the crew over as well to be like, this is what it's gonna look like. And I think it kind of looked like that at the end, so that was a good thing.
It's beautiful. Yeah, you can clap for that. So, your friendship made it through working together. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was that process like for you guys writing together, for anybody in the room that might be looking at a writing partner?
She wrote it.
Yeah. Well, we partnered in the production of it. We produced together, but I wrote it on my own. But I definitely had a lot of it was not completely a solo thing. We went back and did a lot of edits together and tried out throughout the writing process. We a lot of the tempo kind of came from us reading through it at each stage and saying, does that work? Does that sound right out loud? It was definitely really helpful to have each other to bounce off of and try things out when there was still time to change things and make sure it felt like a good fit for our cast.
And what's it like having to get notes from a friend? Tell us. We want to know the tea. She's not listening.
Well, Kelly is incredibly tactful and also honest. So it was fantastic.
That's the story she's gonna. We'll get the real story later, guys. For our filmmakers in the room that are starting to branch out and make their own projects, where you're not taking on all of the projects. P.S. Don't take on all of the pieces. It will make your project better. Talk to us about hiring, finding your director, finding your crew. What was that like for you?
So luckily, like Jonny said, we were connected through a mutual friend. And I think that like Jonny just has a great network of people. It's a testament to who he is as a person. The people he surrounds himself with are really great people, and they're kind people, and they will work for not a lot of money, which was nice when you don't have a really big budget. But I think just he's a passionate person, and the people he brings around him are passionate, and that was just like it was just great because he had a great crew of people, and like we had each other, and it was just like a big community, so we could always like bounce off of each other. But yeah,
it's just a love fest up here. I love it. You guys mentioned something, the same thing that Nicholas just talked about, and being able to create a project that you can actually make. What were some of the things you were thinking about in order to do that for yourself?
It definitely helped knowing our limitations before even coming up with concept for the short. We knew obviously we needed to be in one place that we had full access to, and so tailoring the story to that I think helped a lot. And the idea was to make it feel like something that felt natural to the space, and that it wasn't something that was just kind of crammed into one physical location because it needed to be. So we kind of built from the ground up. I think that helped a lot.
Yeah. And that's it. What else? Always know what you can work with, know who you can work with. That way it's like they're saying, it's you want to be around good people because you're going to be with them for a long time. And, our shoot was like 10 hours or so, and, it gets hot in that apartment and that location. So while you're working with that stuff, just understand what you're getting yourself into often. And you have to be passionate and love it, because if you don't, you're going to find out pretty soon.
Itching, burning questions. Yes, right in the middle.
How long did it take for you guys to edit it?
That's a good question. I think it was tough because I have like a full-time gig as well, working in film, and my editor that I had, I knew I wanted an editor, so I asked somebody who I knew had Adobe, and he had cut someone else's film, one of a mutual friend, and I was like, dude, could you do mine? And he was like, no. And I asked him again, he's like, ask me again, and then the third time he said yeah. So after that, I think we cut it like on when he was available, to be honest, because he had a full-time job. So I think it was like a couple weekends. I would go over at night after work sometimes, often, and just, like a Friday night at 9 o'clock, we'd work until 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then because we're busy, we try to touch it again. So I think ultimately it was like full to the final cut, couple months. But for the rough cut, we had that in 2.5 weeks, I think, at least a rough cut, and then not including color because we had to find the colors and then sound and all that stuff took a while. And then I went to Australia to film, so we were still doing post-production while I was there, and I'd wake up at 4 in the morning, then go work on a production, and then I forgot. But yeah, give notes with Richard, our DP, when he was doing color. I'd wake up at like 4 in the morning, Australia, for all that stuff. So post-production lasted a little bit longer, but not in terms of like, I don't know, it just lasted longer because our time and schedule for working is, it's a hustle.
Indie Filmmakers Live. Other questions? Yes, right there in the back.
Hi.
Hey, Diaz!
Hi. When you were writing the short film, did you know already which character you wanted to play, or did you guys talk about it like after it was written?
Good question, actually. No. I had to not think about myself in it at all, otherwise I could not write anything. I actually asked, after it was done, then I started to think about it. I asked Kelly which character she thought felt more authentic to her, and she said Lainey, and I was like, okay, great. I think that works for me perfect. So, but good question. Yeah, no, if I tried to think about writing a character for myself, my writer's block would completely stop me. So yeah, the answer is no, I did not know.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us about the cat? Is she a professional?
Thank you so much for noticing. She is currently seeking representation. No, that's my cat. Her name is Beatrice. That's her government name, B for short. She's still like seeking work. That was her first gig. She did a commercial after that. Yeah, you can find her on Instagram at Queen Bee in NYC.
Any last questions? Right in the back, yes.
Yeah, hey, question for Jonny. I'm a huge fan. Hey, I just want to ask real quick, was there any kind of rehearsal process for this, or did you just go in on the day and shoot everything and rehearse it then?
This was their first SAG official. I mean, that was a big thing too, so it's like in order to get SAG.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And SAG had some rules about that, so we did everything legal. But before that, I went with the camera crew and I was planned out certain shots that we wanted, and that was maybe a day-ish that we did that, maybe 2, just with Richard. And I brought the production designer too, because I was like, all the apartment walls were white, and like a good Pedro Almodovar film taught me, I'm like, add color, add as much color as you can. So I wanted to like, really production design it as much as possible so that it didn't feel like somewhere it didn't feel like her apartment. I wanted it to be Lainey and Gemma's apartment. Like, what do they live in? What's their world, and kind of create something from those characters so that helps them hopefully with the world building and the performance as well. So yeah, maybe a day-ish or 2 or 3, but not on SAG. We did everything right.
Nice. Where can we find you guys next? What happens next with the short, and what else are you working on?
Yeah, we just started our short festival thing. So we were in Austin in October, which we were really happy about. It was a lot of fun. I have a writing partner, Phil. We wrote a feature script that we're really excited about as well, called All We Got. We entered it in a pitch contest and did it really well on there. So stoked about that. That was fun. And then the girls are writing maybe as well.
Yeah, there's a few
She's
things
like,
in the
"Are
works.
we?"
Yeah, I've got a few early drafts that are still very young, so I don't want to talk about them, but more to come.
Nice.
Yeah. Stuff's coming.
The male gaze.